Hey everybody, this is Cameron from Obnoxious and Anonymous, and today we're going to be taking a look at some of the items that I have in my David Lynch collection. First up, we have this really cool 35 millimeter trailer to David Lynch's 1984 film Dune. I got this actually off Cinema Sickness on YouTube. He was selling a bunch of stuff, and I said, "Is that the original Dune?" And he said, "Yes, it is." I said, "Okay, I'll take that." This is a 35 millimeter film trailer. I believe this is only like 3 minutes and something. So yeah, just imagine how big an actual film used to be for a 2 hour, a 3 hour movie. I mean, we had giant platters where you would put, a third or half a movie on before you'd have to switch over to another platter. And God forbid one of these things, well, not the trailer, but like a film print ran off the platter. It was horrible. One of the worst experiences of your life. You'll hear people to this day, projectionists of old will tell you nightmare stories where they would scream as the thing would unravel on them off the platter. So anyway, yeah, David Lynch's Dune. I know he probably would be like, "Why do you have that thing?" But it's cool, and not many people have a 35 millimeter trailer. Next up, we have Inland Empire bumper stickers. I got this when the film was originally out in theaters. You can see the davidlynch.com right here. This is the original New Line Cinema DVD. Of course, the New Line Cinema Laserdisc and VHS tape would work just as well, but I wanted to show the original DVD. Why? Well, it's because when this film was released by New Line Cinema, it's no longer released by New Line Cinema, by the way, with the Blu-ray releases. There is about 10 seconds or so of atmosphere, wind, mood before the movie begins, which has been excised for the recent Blu-ray releases. The Fire Walk with Me fan cut. This is the full version. All the missing pieces have been reinserted except the Cooper and Diane scene for obvious reasons. Also, what's really cool is that this version not only puts the deleted scenes back in or the missing pieces, but they put them back in more or less to the way they were in the script. So like so it doesn't just go in lockstep like the way the movie we know is. The script, at times was different from the released movie, not just the obviously not just with the missing pieces stuff, but just in terms of the order of the scenes. And I believe this version is as close as we're gonna probably ever get to a version of what the original script was like. The only difference is that the Philip Jeffries scene is still in its position as it was in the theatrical cut. In the script version, you would see Laura walking down the street, and then it would cut to Philip Jeffries' whole sequence, and then cut back to Laura walking down the street and seeing Donna. So obviously, they tightened it up and they moved it ahead, and then that's why they had to take out the whole 1989 reference because they moved it up a year and blah blah blah. And yet in season 3, they talk about 1989 because they forgot they moved it up a year in the theatrical cut. It's a big mess. Anyway, here it is, the full fan cut of Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me, Teresa Banks, and The Last 7 Days of Laura Palmer. This is the Q2 edit, if anybody's interested in trying to find this. But anyway, I'm very happy to have this because in my mind, this is as close also to what Lynch's original intent for the film was going to be. Obviously, we know there's still probably stuff missing that has not been included, like Will Hayward's Rose on the ground at Sparkwood in 21. But this is more or less like the movie David Lynch shot to release in theaters, but it ended up being too long. They had to cut it down to 2 hours and 15 minutes and all that. But this is, if I was to say to somebody, all right, now after you watch the series, you got to watch Fire Walk with Me. This is the version I would show people. I like the theatrical cut a lot, but having all the other pieces in there and kind of balancing it out more with the lower story definitely helps. I didn't think it would. I thought it would be feel kind of tacked on. It doesn't. It actually rounds it out and makes it a better film overall. So check out the full Q2 edit. Next up, we have The Angriest Dog in the World book. Now, a viewer sent this in. Only 500 copies were made. This is a great kind of cool book, and I had no idea this thing was coming to me. So I was very happy when I received it. So thank you very much for this awesome, awesome book. The short films of David Lynch. Now, a lot of these were put on the Eraserhead Criterion Blu-ray. On as a side note, I do think that Eraserhead is going to eventually get a 4K release from Criterion. But what's cool about this is this actually has two short films that have not been included on any other set. And one is a nearly 30-minute short film he made called The Cowboy and the Frenchman that he made between Blue Velvet and Wild at Heart. And the other one is the Lumiere film that he shot. I believe you can get that on the Lumiere disc itself, but it's cool to have this. I got this from davidlynch.com back in the day. I also got the Eraserhead box. All right, next up we have the audiobook of The Secret Diary of Laura Palmer by Jennifer Lynch. This is read by Cheryl Lee. This was something that was nearly 30 years in the making. You know, the idea of having Cheryl Lee reading Jennifer Lynch's, book of The Secret Diary of Laura Palmer is a dream come true for everybody. If you want a physical release of this book, of this audiobook, it does exist, folks, and it's well worth picking up. All right, and we have the VHS of David Lynch's Hotel Room. This was a pilot that was made for cable. It was not picked up, so then they aired it just as a standalone kind of feature. 2 of the 3 episodes are directed by David Lynch. This is also written by Barry Gifford. They would go on to collaborate on Lost Highway as well. And of course, David Lynch adapted Barry Gifford's book Wild at Heart for the big screen. In terms of the writing style, the way people talk, when Lynch and Barry Gifford wrote together was very different from the way him and Mark Frost wrote together. So this has a lot in common with Lost Highway. Is it great? I don't know. I mean, it's cool. There's some really great stuff here by Crispin Glover, and Harry Dean Stanton, and there's some good stuff in it. I am shocked this doesn't have a DVD or Blu-ray release, but I'm sure eventually it will. Now, this isn't David Lynch per se, but a lot of people don't know that in 1992, when Fire Walk With Me was coming out, there was a TV movie on at the same time that starred Cheryl Lee and Maura Kelly. Love, Lies, and Murder. This is a double tape. I think it is on DVD, but I think the tape is still the full version of the miniseries. I think the DVD cuts out some stuff. So anyway, this is just really cool. I mean, Cheryl Lee, Maura Kelly together in a 4-hour true crime miniseries. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Maura Kelly just had the greatest year in 1992. I mean, obviously Love, Lies, and Murder, Fire Walk With Me, Chaplin. She had 2 roles in Chaplin. She also had The Cutting Edge. 1992 was like her year. And then she seemed to just kind of slip off and disappear. Next up, we have the artisan release of the first season of Twin Peaks. Now, why am I showing this off? Well, one is, even though the pilot is not included, the rest of the episodes, again, this is only season 1. The rest of the episodes are, there's like 1 to 2 episodes on every disc. So the quality is amazing. But the reason why to get this is because it actually has audio commentaries from the episode directors. And when this thing first came out, I loved it. But then when the Gold Box was coming out, I sold this. I stupidly sold this. And then I had to get it again because those commentaries were not included on any future releases. Not the Gold Box, not the Blu-ray sets, not the ZDA sets. So this is the only way to get these commentaries. And, I've had Josh Eisenstadt on my show, and he's told me that there are commentaries for season 2 that were made as well, and those have never seen the light of day. Next up, we have On the Air. This is all 8 episodes on Japanese Laserdisc. Isn't this cool? You also get David Lynch's head here on the back. I believe this is an image from him directing Fire Walk With Me, if I'm not mistaken. But let me open this up here. This is the only way to get this. Now, I don't know. Maybe these episodes are on YouTube or something. But in terms of if you want, even though this is an SD presentation, if you want a physical media release of this, I believe this is the only way to get these episodes. There are Japanese subtitles that are kind of imprinted on the screen, but what are you gonna do? I mean, they're not taking up the entire screen. It's just at the bottom, like, like subtitles usually are. Only 3 of the 8 episodes aired in America. After 3 episodes, they pulled it. So that was like the first time I got to see, the last 5 episodes. Next up is a Laserdisc. Whoa, I almost hit myself in the head. Called Hollywood Mavericks. This is just a documentary about filmmakers. But, I mean, come on. You have Peter Bogdanovich, Martin Scorsese, David Lynch, Francis Ford Coppola. I believe this is actually on YouTube, so you can check it out. Hollywood Mavericks. And, it's just about filmmakers. But I was very happy that David Lynch was interviewed. All right. Next up, we have the Industrial Symphony #1. I was actually at a Laserdisc store. They were going out of business. They said, hey, you want to look through our bins? I said, sure. And I found this, and I was like, oh my God, they actually released a Laserdisc of this? Because I had it on VHS. This is, of course, the Angelo Badalamenti, David Lynch, Julie Cruz collaboration here. I think eventually this will end up getting a Blu-ray release. In terms of, like, I think when Criterion gets the rights from Shout to release Wild at Heart, they will add this as a bonus feature. And why would they do that? It's because Nicolas Cage and Laura Dern show up in the first 5 minutes in character. They never say the names Sailor Ripley and Lula Fortune, but they are definitely playing the characters of Sailor Ripley and Lula Fortune. And of course, a lot of the music was used in not only Wild at Heart, but Twin Peaks as well. So this is really cool. I mean, it's basically a live, like, stage performance filmed, but it's moody, it's atmospheric, and the music is of course amazing. All right, and we have Twin Peaks, the visual soundtrack. I believe this was just uploaded to YouTube, so if you want to check it out, go ahead. Basically what this is a Japanese company went over to the towns of Snoqualmie, North Bend in 1990 and just filmed, locations from the show, but also random stores that, like, have nothing to do with the show. And also they just leave the camera rolling for, like, long periods of time. So, like, people and kids just kind of walk by the camera looking at it, like, what are you doing? They left all that stuff in. But what's really cool, though, is you get to go to the train graveyard. You get to go inside the sheriff's station back in 1990. There's a lot of cool things in here. And it's one of a kind. I mean, they never did this for season 2. So, and basically what it is it's the soundtrack. It's just the soundtrack. And, but it's put to visual images that this Japanese company went to Pacific Northwest and shot all this stuff. And last but not least, I've shown this before, but I figured I'll show it again. This is the Boxing Helena limited edition here, Laserdisc set. This is the full director's cut. I think that director's cut may have been put on DVD, but certainly Jennifer Lynch's commentary was never put on the DVD. Also, the 1-hour retrospective interview making of was not put on the DVD. Also, the soundtrack that is presented here as a 24 karat gold CD definitely was not included. You also, in this set, get the shooting script, the production shooting schedule, a library of production stills, video footage of Helena's box and its designer, a comparison of the scenes edited to achieve the R rating. So, isn't that cool? Maybe one day we'll get, like, a Vinegar Syndrome 4K release of this movie. But as of right now, the Laserdisc is the only way to go to get this limited edition Jennifer Lynch's Boxing Helena. All right. Well, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also, follow us on Patreon, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Email us anytime. AdamNoxious@anonymous@hotmail.com. My name is Cameron. Thank you so much again. I will see you soon. Take care, and bye-bye.